So there's just so many different ways that you can differentiate yourself. It doesn't have to be through making something better. It could be just different, or it could just be unique, or it could be new. But it's really hard to come up with something new. And frankly, you're always going to have an opportunity to make something better than these companies, because these companies, when they succeed, they get too big, they make things too complicated, or they lose sight of what their initial goal was when they get that big, and then they lose it, and now it's up for grabs again. So just don't worry so much. Don't overthink it. Don't try to come up with a perfect idea, because there is no perfect idea. And frankly, even if by the time you come up with the perfect idea, how long is it going to take you to get that idea? What if it took you an extra year of preparation, mental preparation, and meditating and pondering what's going to be the best idea? You probably could have already started and failed like 2 or 3 businesses in that time, and probably figured at least something out by then, something better, and your perfect idea is probably not even that perfect. So just don't let these people fool you. Don't let all these people who are saying that this doesn't work, that doesn't work, this is too hard, nobody can do this anymore. Don't let them fool you. That's them. That's their mindset, and that's probably true for them. But if you just do something and you don't overthink it, you've already beat them. You're a different person. Their advice does not apply to you. There's just so much opportunity. Literally anything that you want to do, anything, you can start a business around it. You can probably start the exact business that you're thinking of, and you can probably do it. You can make it happen. It's not like, oh, I didn't have the right profit margin and so the business failed. Like, yeah, there are business models that are harder than others, but if you really want to, you can figure out a way to make it work. There are bad business models, and by bad I mean bad for where you're currently at, but you can rewire them to be a different way, or like a slight pivot, but not a total pivot, where it is something smart again. I'm not sure if how many of you might have seen the movie about McDonald's, and supposedly some of the details are not entirely accurate, but there was a very interesting moment in the story where the financing guy, or the investing guy, he meets Ray Kroc in the story. And Ray Kroc is thinking, oh, I am in the restaurant business, and so I need to figure out how to make more money and control the franchisees. But then the finance guy, he said, actually, if you switch this to being a real estate focused business, you can still have all the restaurants and you can control the menu of the restaurants and all that, but the way you make money is through the real estate. And so hopefully you see why I'm mentioning that. Basically, if there might be an idea that you have and you think, this is how I'll do it, this is how I'll make money from it, but maybe it would have been too hard if you did it that way. But with a pivot, a slight pivot, it could work much easier. Things could get much smoother. So if there is an idea that you really want to do, why not just go for that idea and figure out the way that you have to spin it to make it work? Like there are so many different ways of operating a business and making money from the non-obvious part of it. And so even in hard businesses, you can make it work. I'm very confident in saying that. And sure, you should probably pick your battles as to like, what are you really most interested in versus what are you best at? Like sometimes those things are not aligned. When you hear the negative talk of this doesn't work or that is too hard, it's not that it means it is too hard and you can't do it. You just have to figure out, first of all, are they right about what they're saying? And even if they are right for them, are they right for me? And once I've figured out what is the reality, do I want to do that? Is it worth the outcome? Like, what would the final outcome of this be? Like, if we were talking about a restaurant, it's not something I'd be interested in because most restaurants fail. They're really hard. And then even once they're working, it's not like they make a ton of money. They seem easy to make because making food seems somewhat simple, but there's many moving pieces. There's a lot of liability. There's so many issues, so much to manage. So would it be the thing that I was interested in? Probably not. Would I encourage anybody to start a restaurant? Probably not. But if it's been your dream to start a restaurant, I'm not going to tell you don't do it. Just figure out the way that you can do it. What is the best way? Do you need to start with a restaurant that is, a $10,000 a month lease? Probably not. You probably don't need to go that far. You should first of all figure out, how are you going to actually make the money? Like, where are you going to get the food from? What type of food? How is it going to work? Can you get a $1,000 a month place, like a really small place? Or maybe you could do delivery only to start out. Or maybe you could be a kitchen for a restaurant, and so you don't have to deal with any of the customers. You're just working through the restaurant. Like, there's all these types of things, all these different ways that you can structure it. So anyways, I'm probably running off on tangents now, talking about how to actually make really hard businesses work. But the point that I was starting with was that people will try to tell you that you can't make it work. And so really that's just for them. If you're determined, if you're motivated, you can make it work. If you can just do anything, just do something, you are better than them. And just don't complain about it. You can get tired. Like, I hate it when people talk about burnout. And it's not that I think people don't get tired or that people don't work too hard for like a few weeks and then they've tired themselves out, and so now every day after that just feels way too hard. I understand it, but I just don't think it helps you to talk like that. I just don't think it helps to give a special term to something. It's like self-imposing this trauma on yourself. Oh, I burned out. I burned out before. 6 months ago, I suffered from extreme burnout. Just say you got tired. Oh man, that was a rough few weeks. Yeah, I had to take a week off, but now I'm back to it. There, much simpler, not so dramatic. Let's not over dramatize everything or romanticize everything and make it this big thing. Like, don't make it a big deal. Just, you got tired, you worked too hard, you stayed up too many late nights working on stuff. Okay, and then you get some rest, move on. Make sure you sleep 8 hours a night. That's probably enough. Don't skip that. Because then, your mind's not going to work right. So frankly, I just want to avoid those types of people. They're not affecting me. Like, obviously listening to them has not changed how I am, but it's just distracting. And then you kind of start to that's the bigger issue that I realize this is probably the bigger issue with listening to them, even if you are not changing yourself because of it. It could make you a little bit too happy with yourself. Like, you might be happy that, oh, well, I never start whining like they do, or I never start acting like they do. And, I have some hard spots and I don't complain as much as they do, so that must mean I'm better. That doesn't help you either, because frankly, your goal is your goal. And so you just have to get to your goal and not pay attention to whatever it is that they're saying. So if they make you feel like you've already sort of made it just because you are able to handle the pressure better than they do, that's bad. You should just have your own anxiety push you forward to keep going, to stay up late and do whatever you need to do, or wake up early. Waking up early is even better, honestly, for me. Like, I tend towards staying up late, but I don't think I've ever been as productive as I am when I wake up early and go to sleep early. It's just kind of hard schedule-wise at the moment. But yeah, I think for me, that is the bigger reason why I just hate hearing all that stuff. Because I think it can affect me in becoming maybe a bit complacent, that if I'm doing better than them, or at least handling hard situations better than them, that must mean I'm doing all right. And I don't want to feel like I'm doing all right. I want to feel like I'm behind so that I can keep trying to do better, because I haven't hit my goals yet. And even once you do hit your goals, it again doesn't help you to feel like you've hit your goals. You should be content every day. So don't think I'm saying you should never be happy with anything. You should already just be happy with the way your life is and how you get to work on things that you want to do, things that you want to work on. If you're unhappy with just your life, that's a totally separate issue. Not really talking about that. I'm talking about just work-wise. You should never get too satisfied and you should never get too down on yourself. Either one is unhelpful. It's good to have a bit of anxiety. It's good to have some of the good days where you're, a little bit excited. So I guess if I were to try and quickly summarize what I've talked about in this video, I guess I would say don't be overly dramatic. Don't let other people let you think that it's too difficult for you just because it's too difficult for them. You don't have to worry about competition. You don't have to worry about getting the perfect idea. You just have to worry about doing something, and you're already going to be in like the top 10% of people. But don't be satisfied with being in the top 10% of people. You have to keep working towards your goal and not let them affect you too much for good or for bad. Even in those crowds of complainers, you'll see, one or two people doing really well, and even they will every now and then start whining about, oh, I got burnt out, oh, I got tired, oh, business is hard. That's why you just can't listen to everybody. You just can't. It's not helping you to be that dramatic about everything. You don't want to get too excited when things are going well, and you don't want to get too down when things are going bad. It doesn't help your mental clarity. Just keep doing it, keep moving forward, keep making the steps that you know you need to do. Don't let them drag you back with them. Your only real limit as to what you can do is time. And even then, that's what leverage is for, right? To get more done faster. So just work really hard and do the things that you want to do. You can probably do that really big goal that you have. Even if you're a bit delusional. Being delusional is probably kind of a good thing, actually, in that you can delude yourself into thinking you can do it. And if you believe it well enough, you could probably convince other people that you can do it, and then they'll be interested in helping you with that. But anyways, I think that is long enough for today. I hope some of this was insightful for you, or maybe I'm just a crazy person yelling to myself in my room. Let me know in the comments what you think. But that's all for today. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.